The raid is officially unlocking for hyperboost servers, which means you guys can finally start working on your heroic gear. And I'm going to be telling you guys today what you should be doing so you guys can maximize your heroic growth and the lucent gain. So let's just jump into it. So for hyperboost servers, we know the raid has been locked, but if you guys can look at the milestone, you will see the Witch of Chaos will unlock soon. It was actually supposed to be delayed for another week, but I think they're rushing the content a tiny bit, so we'll be able to do the normal raid and the difficult raid. So the people that are wondering how can you get heroic gear, you will be getting them through the raid. Now when you are at the raid, you will have to finish the codex quests to be actually able to enter, which is going to be the codex extra, which is going to be 2 wings of Silith and 2 wings of Silith 2. And once you've done that, you can actually enter the raid, and then you have to do this chapter 6, which will unlock with the milestone. Then you can do the raid, and then you can access the NPC and get all the juicy rewards. So when the server is up, you will see the screen basically like this. And what is really nice to know is you are guaranteed a drop chance of a heroic on the last boss of Calanthea, and you're also guaranteed on the difficult mode. So every single week, you're actually guaranteed 100% drop of getting a piece of heroic. So you don't have to worry about getting a heroic. However, dropping the right heroic is what's going to take some time. But don't worry, if you guys have been saving up Calanthea shards from battle passes and stuff, you'll be able to actually buy the weapon or the gear piece that you want. But should you buy it? That is the big question. Now, when it comes to the heroics itself, if you're on hyperboost servers, I would advise you guys, if you want to make some lucent, is not to start working on your weapon yet. We have the same issue on the legacy servers. The first few weeks, you kind of want to let the whales buy them out, and then later on, you want to get your gear piece because you are actually time gated behind something called the Chaos Prisms in this game. The Chaos Prisms are right here. You guys can see I've talked to you and I said this before that you guys should be buying them out every single week. But the only way to upgrade a heroic weapon, you cannot transfer from a tier 3 or tier 2. You cannot sync. The only way to upgrade is through Chaos Prisms. So with Chaos Prisms, you're going to get the craft option, which will let you craft these shards. Let me see if I can find them. I think I need to here. Grow stones. There we go. Heroic grow stones. So the heroic grow stones right here, the only way to upgrade the heroics, and you need Chaos Prisms. So the only way to get Chaos Prisms, again, is buying weekly and getting it from the raid and from the battle passes. Currently, you can also get it from the Dimensional Trials, but that is it. It's time gated behind, and it's basically locked behind those things. So if you guys are trying to level up a weapon, you will only be able to, if you've been collecting level up to 5 or 6, depending on your luck. So if you go to a trade, you'll be able to, you go to enhancement, you will see my weapon is max on this character. If you look here, I have a level 12 weapon, but my gear piece is 7 and my ring is 6. You will not be able, you will be able to gain all of these things. However, I would highly advise you guys to start on the weapon. It's the strongest thing and it gives insane bonuses. And then later on, what's really nice about the heroics, or they can put whatever passive you want in this. So if you want to put a different passives inside of it, of my greatsword, I can put this passive by just going to the imprint guy, or a tier 3 passive, or whatever, and I can put it into the greatsword, which is really nice. So the heroics are super strong, but they're really expensive. Now, there is a chance you guys can make absolutely insane amount of lucent if you guys get lucky. There are certain pieces that will sell for more, and those pieces are weapons. So if you guys get a weapon, especially an orb with some good stats, you can make a lot of lucent. And what is also really sick, guys, is you have a 5% chance to get a heroic trade. And if you get a heroic trade, you can make insane amount of money on the hyperboost servers because they're worth a lot. So the weapon is going to be a massive priority. And if you're getting like a good weapon trade, like attack speed, heavy attack, you're going to be able to sell it for a lot. The other pieces of gear that are really strong that people are looking to get, they can make a lot of lucent on, is the helmet. It's one of the best PvE gears. The chest plate is really good for certain classes, and the cloak is really nice. And if you are, by some chance, because remember, you're only getting night, normal, and difficult. We're not getting nightmare mode yet. So if you by chance get accessory, especially a ring, by chance, it's very low chance, you get a ring or a necklace, even an earring, you can make absolutely insane amount of lucent if you sell the trait. Now, you cannot sell the weapon itself, unfortunately. You can only sell the trait. That's the only way you can trade with the heroics. If you look on the auction house, you go on the weapons, you will see that weapons are basically extracts, and that's the way you basically trade up the weapons. Now, there's many ways to trade up the weapons. I have a full video on how to trade this on my YouTube channel. You guys could check it out. How I leveled up my heroic weapon is what the video is called. But you can trade it up with tier 2 epic gear, epic G2, and epic T3, and heroic. The main thing that people are looking to do if you do get a weapon is unlocking the traits, and then you use heroic or epic tier 3s to actually level them up. That's basically how you do it. So you will be able, as a whale, or if you're spending a lot of lucent, a lot of trades, you will be able to fully trade it out already, but you will not be able to level it up past a certain level depending on how many chaos prisms you have. So you're basically locked between it. Now, is the raid going to be hard? The raid isn't going to be that difficult as many people suspect, because we will be getting a buff. So when you die in the boss, if you're doing, let's say you're doing the first boss or you're doing the last boss, and you die, you get a buff, HP buff and damage buff. If you die again, after 3 minutes, you get another buff, and this buff will stack up to 10 times. So you can basically, if you with 10 buffs, you can potentially do the whole dungeon naked because of how high buff you get. So you don't have to worry about doing the normal mode. And the normal mode actually gives you more rewards, because if you look at the reward section, you will see you have a group 4, which is 2 Palantir shards and is 4 prisms. But if you look at the difficult mode, you're going to see that the chance is actually lower. So it's 1 shard and only 2 prisms. So if you cannot do difficult, yes, you will fall a bit behind, but the difficult mode also has a 5x buff. I'm not sure if we're getting that on hyperboost, but if we are getting it, we're going to get a 5x buff instead of a 10x buff. But if you cannot do the difficult mode, you're not going to fall too far behind, because the loot, even though the last piece of gear will be really nice, the actual prisms are not going to be that much more than normal mode. So the most important thing is do your raid weekly. And my advice for most players would be selling your heroic. And then if you really want, you will be able to buy your weapon if you've been saving like your Calantia shards and stuff. Potentially. You can also, if there's bad extracts, like you do the raid and you get like a bad weapon, you can also dissolve the weapon, the heroic. I think I have a heroic here, so I can show you guys. I should have one in my storage. Let's see here. Maybe not. Maybe I don't have an extra. No, I don't have an extra. But if you do dissolve and a heroic, you will be able to get more shards that you can use at the NPC. So if it's really bad trait, my advice would be to don't lithograph it, just solve it, get those shards, and then you can buy the weapons. Again, at the end of the day, shards are important to, of course, buy the heroics, but it's also good for heroics to swap certain things, because to swap certain traits or unlock certain traits on the heroics, you actually need, look at this, you need shards. So shards are extremely important to unlock traits and stuff, so they will still be needed later on. You cannot sync heroic weapons, so the only way to actually transfer heroic to heroic will be to either level up one separately or just transfer it into a new heroic weapon if you want to get or start on 2 new weapons. But hopefully there will be a sync system in the future for it. But that is just heroics explained very shortly. It's a really good time to make a bunch of lucent early on. If you get lucky, like I said, you can make up to 10k lucent pretty fast. Even in the legacy servers where prices are cheap, you look at some of these trades, you will see that they're going for still a lot of lucent. And this is going to be like 10k per, if you get, this is like super lucky though. You have to drop a weapon, and then you have to drop the heroic trade, which is a 5% chance. So I don't think y'all will get this, but what you could potentially get is, for example, a weapon, heroic weapon with attack speed, right? Which is pretty strong, and that will sell for probably 5-6k too. So, oh, I sold this. Really nice. Some lucent. So tomorrow, good day. Check out for my guide. I have a guide, maybe a little bit outdated. Maybe I'll do an updated guide for the raids, but again, it should be your main priority. do the weekly raids, buy out the shop, get those shards, chaos prisms, and then you can start either selling or leveling up your weapon. But thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about heroic weapons, ask me or check out me on Twitch. I do be streaming, or YouTube. I stream almost every single day. You guys can ask me anything there. If it's something confusing, I'm right there. So make sure you check it out. Check out this video right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.